Ka pai. Kia ora Homa. Kia ora.
Sure.
Yep, they've allowed us back on here again after last week. And we've got our whānau from Ngā Pāpaka o Rangataua on the screen with us tonight. So here's going to be some good kōrero. And the Kazi, AK and I have had some mean battles against this whānau. So it'll be good to hear some of those, some of their history coming out. So I'll hand it over to Aramahau, and then we'll introduce everybody here. So tēnā koe Aramahau.
Tahi ake ka tukumihi ko kōrua. HK, me ki te karapu o te puna. No koutou te whakaaro kia pū tēnei kaupapa. Kaupapa kōrero I waiganui ngā karapu. No reira tēnei kami. Tuarua, me mihi hoki me ki tō tātou kaihanga. Nāna te timatanga me te whakamutinga. O tira nāna I homai, nāna I tongo. No reira, ka rere tonu ngā mihi ki aia I te au I te pō, ngā wā katoa. Ka rere tonu ngā mihi ki o tātou tini mate, rātou kua whetūrangitia, tainua ki o tātou tūpuna, o ngā karapu, o tātou karapu, o te motu, tēnei te mahara ki a rātou. Nō reira hoki mai ki a tātou, anei ngā karapu tokorua nei, te puna rau ko Rangataua, me tēnei kaupapa ko arake I tēnei iahi pō.
Ora.
Nō reira, kia ora tātou.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you to our hosts for inviting us to this catch up and having a few yarns in terms of our clubs and the history of our clubs and where we're at the moment. So I'd just like to start off by starting off with the bit of history of our club, Rangataua. Just from the kōrero that's been handed down, and Uncle Tai Taikato, thoughts still with him and to his whānau, to our whānau. He shared a lot of information with us with regards to our club, along with others. Our club originated from a place called Karikari over at Tamapahore. And there's that name Karikari is in the records of the Bapalini Times. And this is going back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. And they went under that name, Karikari. And from there, they another name was formed called Huimai. And that incorporated all of our whānau around the Rangataua Bay, including Whareroa Matapi. And they broke off after a while, and they were called Rangataua East. You would have heard that in some of the conversations with the people over there. So from Huimai, that was based at Karikari. From there, the club moved to its existing where it exists now, at Te Paotiariki. And this was in, so fair to say, I suppose, in 1907. 1900, yeah, in 1907.
Oh.
And we had our centenary in 2007, so celebration of our club, the centenary. And it became Rangataua, named after the bay, Te Tāhuna Rangataua. Very family orientated, likewise with our other Māori clubs in the Moana, Huri Noa. But we also had the wider community involved. You had our, those families who were married and stayed in the area. You also had some Pākehā friends. It wasn't just Māori that played for our club. We had our Pākehā friends as well. And those are evident in our old photos, the club. So, the actual physical building. It was just so that the bottom part we have the bar in the downstairs area. That's an extension of the club that was first put up. It was just upstairs, downstairs, and that extension where the bar is now was added after, and that was in the late 70s, 80s, early 80s. It was added on. So there's been a few developments since the club started. Yeah. Good up here, Tenewa.
Awesome, Ara, ngā mihi nui. And yeah, I hear you mentioned koro taikoto that we lost earlier on this year. So yeah, big mihi to you fellas from our club, but not only our club, from the Moana. I remember him and Dudley a few years back being the last ones dragged out of our club after a Rangatawa Te Puna team, so our game. So yeah, those are fond memories, as well as all the other whānau, your father, all Rāpatama. So yeah, heaps of fond memories of our whānau Rangatawa. Right, probably moving on with this questioning, and we got Mats here, and we got so we got Matua Parkinson as a guest here. We got Atiro Ohia, current coach, and we've got Timo Gardner, one of the staunch stalwarts of the club. So kia ora hoa ma, kia ora.
Kia ora, ngā mihi.
Just got a few more quarter on this section, and then we will move on to AK section and spin the wheel. So can someone talk to us about some special achievements? Maybe you, Matsi? Can you have a quarter about some of the special achievements you've experienced, or the club has experienced over the years?
Yeah, kia ora brothers, ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. So special experiences, obviously 2016, winning the championship was, right up there for us. But for me, one that really sticks out is all those Tonga Trophy games. They're awesome experiences. The Ratana Rose Bowl.
Right.
Now, I was introduced to the Ratana Rose Bowl when I was 15 years old. I played for Apanui. That was my first senior rugby game. I was actually there watching, and we didn't have enough. Of course, my father, bless his soul, said, boy, you're playing, and jump on at fullback. And we were playing Te Tiko. So we all know how Te Tiko plays. So that was a baptism of fire. Playing Te Tiko at Te Tiko for the Ratana Rose Bowl. We got beaten that year, but the following year we won the Ratana Rose Bowl, and we took it back down the coast. But I think, and Timothy and Ara and Ats but I think that winning our 2016 premiership, that was real special for us, because I know we were all there that we're at Mount Maunganui, and we thought it was a home game for us because she was blacked out. She was black and black all over the place. So we're pretty, we're really happy to win, especially over there, because there's a bit of, not bad toto, but, they are rivals like everyone, and we're pretty happy, really happy to win that game. I guess playing with some of those, my memory flicks back to people like Abel Heta, playing with him out at Te Puna. He was a ruthless dude, relentless dude on and off the field. Aramaho, Johnny Matahaere, Charles Hona, Skeets, all of these, JG, all of these fellas that when I first played for Rangatawa in 1993, and I was only a young 17-year-old, 18-year-old who got lured over there by a lady, and a man's
pretty lucky lady.
Yeah,
hey, there's her name on my thing. Bloody
Pretty lucky lady.
Yeah, Pirirako lady, and we now reside in Pirirako. So,
awesome.
And, I don't know. I must be doing something right out there at the moment, because I drowned my truck the other week. I burnt my phone 3 days ago. So we might have to have a bit of a karaki and get cleaned up a bit there because are all good. But I don't know. I'll pass the rock over to the other brothers if they want to speak about any other topics. But kia ora, my bros.
Kia ora, kia
Yeah,
ora. Kia ora.
cheers.
Yeah.
Would just
Call it, bro. Koro.
just another couple of really special years that I remember, bro. And I think I hope I get this right. It was 1997. We won every grade. We won the seniors, reserves, and the Colts grade. That was a huge year, and I can remember back then, the club at the time, the Men in Black, the Will Smith movie was a big movie, and it also had the song, and our all our teams got pumping in behind that theme, Men in Black, and they played that song in the club when we won the trophies, and it was pumping, it was massive. Another kind of key time was obviously our centenary year, 2007. Is it 2007?
Yep.
2007. That was a choice year.
I was there for both those parties. And me and Adam Ho were the last. We got kicked out of the club on that the centennial night. I think Damon Curry was with us too. But that's a story for another time.
What a ratbag crew.
Hey Timothy, kia ora, bro.
Yep.
And you're one of the senior members of the club now, so want you to talk about what are some of the rivalries, bro? Some of the rivalries that that you've experienced or you know of playing for Rangatawa.
Yeah, kia ora, boys.
Kia ora.
Firstly, what an awesome concept you fellas got here. Massive to be added to this. You know, alongside a couple of other legends of both clubs. Massive. Yeah, in terms of rivalries, bro, I mean, where do I start? Without taking up too much time. Obviously, like Matsi touched on it before, the Rose Bowl rivalries were right up there, especially Rangiru. For me, my very first Rose Bowl game was in 2004. I think I jumped in off the bench, and I remember that particular day, Simon and Lincoln Whareorere were in the midfield.
Yeah.
And I just remember fucking shitting my pants. The old man said, "Boy, when you pass the ball, because they're gonna smash you late." And I just remember those Rangiuru teams from those days. Obviously with Damon, and then a little bit later, obviously with Tanero and that was a big rivalry growing up, as well as being involved in over the last decade and a bit or so.
Definitely, bro.
I can't leave you fellas out there too, bro. You fellas are probably, for me, Te Puna, my main rival. Yeah, probably other than last year, most battles have been close. Yeah, just playing against Hayward, obviously AK, Wally when I first started, Sonny Kiwi, Charles Bidwa. Yeah, they were a pretty freaky duo when I first started off. And then obviously in the later years with Turoya and Tapane and those sorts of boys, and I just remember a lot of those games came right down to the wire. So in terms of rivalries, those are my big two. Rangiru will be Rangiru and Pirirako.
Mean, brother, mean. We'll hand it over to AK.
Oh, kia ora, brothers. Yeah, it's good to be amongst brothers from Rangatawa and very staunch panel we have on tonight, and it's awesome hearing the kōrero that's come out already. Just going back to the special achievements that the club has made, obviously we've heard about some more recent achievements. I'll throw this one back to you, Aramaho. Can you enlighten the listeners and the viewers on the history of Rangatawa and the successes of Rangatawa sort of pre-1990s? Can you give us a little bit of a glimpse of the club back then?
Yeah, growing up as a kid, we used to, because the main field used to be the Domain. All the main games used to be played at the Domain. So we used to go into town and watch rugby there. And I don't want to load the trumpet, but Rangatoa was up there amongst some of those strong Pākehā teams, such as Greeton, Otomotai Cadets then. Who else? All those teams, they all played at the Domain, and the rugby, the style of rugby in those days was a lot different to how it's played now. Like, it's a lot faster now. In those days, you could get away with getting a punch in the head. It was really.
Mouth gets away with that in this group too.
It was pretty vicious, eh? It was pretty vicious in those days. And the men were really, they were tough. They were really tough. And I think it had to do with the times. They had, a lot of cow cockies, people working in the forestry, all those labouring jobs. And rugby was the crowds. If you look at some of the old videos and the paper clippings, the crowds were just phenomenal. Like in the finals that we watched in the Bay Wide, the crowds were like that every weekend. Yeah, so that's in terms of the history of our rugby in Tauranga, man, it was really popular. Because rugby, there's a lot of sports happening these days, but rugby was the main sport in those days. Rugby and netball. So you had netball at the Cliff Red Courts and rugby at the main. So yeah, it was really, really popular. Strong rugby, physical, a lot physical then, in my opinion. We were fortunate to have a guy like Eddie Stokes, who's our only All Black. That's an achievement for our club. We have our Māori All Blacks, Mutt's being one of those. Sevens, we've got guys who've done well in the sevens. And now we've got the women's, some of our women who've done really well in rugby. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Kia ora. And you touched on one version of the game that Rangatoa has had massive success in. Over the last 20, 30 years, Rangatoa has been certainly a flagship club when it comes to the game of sevens. And I'll throw this one to you, Mutts. You've been heavily involved with the game of sevens there at Rangatoa. And I know that, Rangatoa won a national competition a few years ago. And many of those Mount Maunganui tournaments, Rangatoa's had massive success through there. How has, what do you think has been the benefits and the positive effects of running a good sevens program for your club?
Yeah, thanks for that, brother. I guess the positives are it's keeping the boys active, keeping those boys that want to, because we always try and run the big boys as well as our sevens players, so we try and keep everyone active and involved. And it just keeps, attracting people from the outside that are looking in. They think we're just a Maori club down the end there, you know what I mean? We're actually a good Māori club that nurtures our players and
awesome.
Plays sevens well in a productive style, have a very good culture within our club, we think. So we just try to portray that and put that out. And I think in the sevens realm, it's easier to let people see that because it's, you do a lot of traveling around and people get to see your club. And we always, and I must give a big mihi back to our committee and our club, our sevens support crew. There's always a barbecue on. We always have a bit of a hakri, a couple of beers at the end of any tournament. Doesn't matter where it is. We could be playing in bloody Japan, and Uncle Sonny and them will turn up there. You know, a couple of years ago, we travelled to Australia, Fiji with Raps, and, you know, our support crew come with us, and it was Uncle Wookie was over there. And I know I'm not answering your questions, but I'm going off the subject a little bit. But for us,
all good.
That's what it was all about, bro. It was just taking our club to the world, if you like to call it that. But, you know, Sevens, you know, I've always been a fan of Sevens. I like the game. I like, if you can get the boys to the fitness levels that they need to be, I can't see why it isn't. It is beneficial when you get into the 15s because they're fit. You know, people say, oh, you get a bit light. Well, just have a couple more beers, be more calories, you'll be rushed. Get into it, you know. So, and I think, well, I know that a lot of benefits have come from Sevens, personally for myself and for the club, hopefully.
Kia ora, bro. Haywood, did you have a pātoi?
Oh, no. Or just he touched on probably one of the next sections we have here, and probably throw this back at Uts, since you're the premier coach, bro. Like, so behind the scenes, so the committee and how things run at Rangatoa. Give us a bit of a picture around the relationship there with the playing group and the club and all other sports. How's that big picture look at Rangatoa, bro?
Easy. Also, like Mati, I want to give our committee a big mihi. They've put in some massive work this year to not just get Premier Rugby pumping again, but all sports and the club pumping. Especially, you want to do a mihi to my auntie Erin. She's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So yeah, we just similar to Puna, we have a committee that oversees the running of the day-to-day running of the club. We have obviously a coach connection between our coaches group and the committee. We feel like you know, we have definitely able to go in there and speak to them of matters to do with our team and the club, and that they'll listen. And I think that's the best thing about them, is they're really keen to hear from the sports teams. And I know with most clubs, the Premier Rugby team is always looked at as the number one team. But, you know, when you sit down in that committee, you get the feeling pretty quick. Those committee members see everything as quite equal. You know, they've got a lot of time for our softballers, a lot of time for our netball ladies, and all the other sports that happen at our club. You know, in my background there, you see the tennis courts and stuff like that. And years gone by, they had pumping tennis and stuff at our club. So we're a sports and cultural club. You know, we're still closely connected to Tūtara Kawika and stuff like that. So our club is not just about a rugby; it's about a whole community connected to all the hapu around the tahuna. So yeah, I hope that's what you're getting at here.
Yeah, no, definitely, cuz. Just before we throw it back to AK with the spin the wheel, so get ready for this section for the spin the wheel, brothers. Yeah. But just before we get into that, just some rising stars. So we will go around the room. We'll start with you, Uts. You can give one rising star, and we'll roll around the room, and then AK can start. So rising star in the club.
Geez, yeah, rising stars. None of them are stars yet, but we're pretty lucky this year. We actually got heaps of young fellas coming through. They're very young. There's quite a few boys that are still under 18, but it's choice to have a big group of young boys keen to play Premier Rugby. I think one that stood out for me this year, and I know the boys will speak of some of our popos and stuff, but there's one boy that stood out for me this year. He came from First 15 at Tauranga Boys a couple of years ago. Then he went over and did a stint in England, and he was playing some rugby over there, and he was also coaching this young boy, Jay Gardner. And he's come back and he's had one game for us so far and also played for our Sevens team. And I've just been impressed with the value that he's added when on the field. Yeah, someone to look out for, Jay Gardner.
Nice.
Timo's father.
Nice. Timo.
Yeah. That's a hard one, actually. I think that's nailed on the head in terms of how many young fellas we've got. I think myself and Rooks and Matty Clutterbuck have been waiting for this generation to come through for a while now. You know, we've got young fellas, and the best thing is that they all come up. Most of them come up through our JMT.
Nice.
Like, we've got the twins now. We've got Nidoi and Zach. We've got Te Hemera and Jay, both gardeners, and Maringi Wai gardener, and a couple of my younger cousins starting to slowly come through. Yeah, so it's a tough one. I couldn't really say one particular player because they all go their ass and think they're better than everybody else at the moment. So yeah, it's a tough one. But based on we've only had one game this year where all those young fellas played, and yeah, Jay was obviously a standout in that game, in that Rose Bowl game.
Awesome.
So yeah, he'll be one to look out for, I guess.
Cool. We'll shoot to you, Ara.
Oh, I think they've pretty much covered them. Yeah, who else? No, I'll support what Ups and Timo had said.
Ka pai. Matsi, you got anyone else? Oh. Hold on out.
Yeah. Just for while we're waiting on the bro to come back, he would have took another name in there, and I think this fella's got outstanding skills, bro, and not just on the field but off the field. Unfortunately, he had a bad run of injuries before he finished secondary school, but he's got a special character, bro, and probably someone who could really lead our club into the future, and that's young Te Ao Billing.
All right, nice. Matsi, you got any young guns that you got your eye on out of the club at the moment?
Yeah. Obviously, the ones in the very near future, like that are here and now, the two blockheads, the Riranui boys.
Oh, those Pirake ones?
They're very similar to the same ones, but they're playing in the black, not the black and blue. So, you know, those are your Whanangas too, my brothers. But, and I think I just mentioned Te Ao Billings. But also in a couple of years' time, so I've coached the under-13s for the last couple of 3 years. There's some really good young boys coming through age group rugby at the moment. James Huna, old man's son, James Hoa. Then we got obviously Hami Riranui. You know, he's over in Rotorua at the moment, so he'll come back to us. You got the old dreamer in the backseat here, or Kira. So once, you know, the old portal's dropped, the old mate will go good for us.
Nice.
Plus, you know, there's Reef, Xavier, Jackson Lepo, that under-13.
Piripi Tapsel.
Yeah, there's Piripi Tapsel, who's down in Wellington on scholarship. You know, so, and I must give a shout out to Matsua Tane. He really instilled in them, and you know, we planted rākau at the club, and there was some year with our boys to try and back to our club, because like we all know, whakapapa doesn't bring them back to the club. Sometimes it's their mates, sometimes it's the stuff you do before they even go away to high school. So that's what we're working on. There's some awesome young boys. Case May, who's another young boy, I think is an outstanding rugby footballer. He'll play any code. Those are just some of the names that I think that will come back to our club in the not too distant future, and they're going to make a huge difference.
Nice, bro. Nice. Well, yeah, AK touched on it before. We jumped on this. Hautipa was kind of founded on getting, you know, realising the talent that we have in our Māori, not only our Māori clubs, but in the Moana. So that's a real important part of this platform, is to try and get some exposure for those young fellas. So in the future, we'll be doing some rising star profiles on here too, getting them on and having a talk. So we've noted those names down, and we'll get them on here. So definitely good to hear. Good to hear. We'll hand it back over to you, Kazi.
Ka pai, bro. Awesome. All right, brothers. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to just share my screen, and I've got a little wheel. It's got all your fellas' names on it, and it's going to randomly select one of you. All right, and then that person there You got a special job tonight. You're going to throw your mate under the bus. I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and whoever comes to mind, you throw them under the bus. Whoever fits the bill best, you throw them under the bus. But watch out, it could come back to you and sting you in the ass at the end of the show. We'll see where we go to with this. All right, brothers, I'll just bring this up. Okay, so if you just have a quick look there, you'll see you'll see your name somewhere in the pie. So if I just give this a little click, it should go. Oh, yeah. Oh,
There he is.
Ara maho, you're up, Ara. Ka pai. All right. Okay, Ara, I'm just going to find my questions. Here they are. Okay. So, right. Who's the worst singer in the group?
This group or the
This
whole
group.
Timothy.
Yep,
This group.
Jeez. There's a few competing there, mate. I'll have to be Timo.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the best storyteller?
Oh, it's got to be Mutz.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. I can tell a yarn, bro.
We'll get one of these yarns soon, bro. We'll get one of these yarns soon.
Who's got the worst dress sense?
Where's dress sense?
Yourself.
You can throw yourself under the bus if you want to.
I'll take that.
Fair enough, Ara. Fair enough. Okay, who's the joker? Who's got the funniest jokes?
Oh, Mutzy, hands down.
Oh boy. All right, we're going on to the rugby field now. Okay, referee's blowing his whistle. He's going to his pocket. There's been a fight. Who's going to the sin bin? I think we already know.
Come on.
Next questions, mate. This is fucking rigged. This is rigged, AK.
Slightly rigged that question. All right. Rangatawa's down by 2 points. It's the last play of the game. There's an opportunity to win the game with a penalty kick from 40 out. Who's stepping up?
Fucking not Timothy.
He's stepping up.
Who's stepping up, Ara?
Atire, it's a cage.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yep.
the face,
Did
mate.
you kick?
Thanks for
All right. And the game's all finished. We need to head upstairs. And who's doing the speech?
Timo,
Timo.
captain's speech.
Okay, a couple more here. So the speeches are all finished. The boys are on their way. Next minute, you're all in Harrington's. So who's on the dance floor?
Ooh, who's on the dance floor?
I fucking know for sure who's on the dance floor.
So do I. Who's on the dance floor, Ara?
It depends. It depends how much you've consumed.
Fuck, if you're at Harrington's, bro, you have to consume a lot.
Your fella's coach was pretty good in Harrington's back in the day, I'm telling you right now.
I was talking about these days, though.
To be
Definitely Timo.
Fuck, you can give me on a double back.
No, I think Atire takes the cake there.
Can't point. Because I'm pretty sure he ain't doing the next one. So who's buying the drinks?
Mutzy, Steinies.
Steiny's, brother. I always got the boys.
Can't point. And then who's in the toilet having a spew?
Ooh. Timo. Oh, he's in the corner of the club. Sorry, Timo.
Claiming that, Ara?
Yep, Timo.
All right, bro. Last one. I think we're going back to 2016, even though LAB went around back then. But let's picture we're back at 2016. Big party at Rangatawa. LAB's running a little bit late for their show. They've got all their gears already set up. Who's on drums? Who's on guitar? Who's on bass? And who's hitting the vocals?
Atiro's on drums. Oh, jeez. I think Matsi is on.
On the Steinies.
What are the options?
He's on the bass.
On the bass. Yes, he's on the bass.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that.
Timo, you can go on the guitar, and I'll just go on vocals.
I can't wait to see that band in action next time I'm up at Rangatawa. Awesome to see fellas up there. Me and Hayward will be there. Bells on.
Always.
Yeah.
Me. Too much. Hey, we at the bottoms, the last section of our night, brothers, has been good to talk, but there's still some good koro to come. So we'll go around the room again, and so we'll go. The first one will be your rugby idol. So talk to us about who your rugby idol was when you're growing up. So we'll start with you, Guts.
Yeah, well, right, there's been a few at the club. Like if I look back, there's a lot of fellas I looked up to, like Trevor Billing, Johnny Matahaere. I think two that stood out to me were always Abel and Matsi. Like Abel was just a tough, hard bugger who played till he was 100 years old. Matsi's kind of built to the same bloody, same pedigree. But when I remember watching Matsi as young, I was only young and seeing him run on the field. He had this, had this out of it hairdo, confident as, and what buzzed me out, bro, was how quick he was. He used to glide across the field. So yeah, those are the things I've always looked up to, and even though he's younger than me, someone I've always admired was Rookie, bro.
Yeah.
He's amazing, bro. That fella's amazing. Some of the stuff he's done over the years on that field. Right. And Nagus, even though Nagus didn't always pass the bloody ball, he did some amazing things to pull our team out of the shit, over the years. He's called something unreal. Try say, yeah, bro.
Mean, and definitely, I'll talk with that Abe Hitter one. I cut my teeth playing against fellas like that and Matsi, so I definitely know firsthand how tough he was, and he was old then too, bro. So, yeah, some mean names there. Matsi.
Yeah. So first and foremost, my uncle Bill Osborne was my first when I was a young boy. I obviously being my uncle, he was who I would like to play rugby like. As I grew up, like every loose forward in the country and the world, you wanted to be Michael Jones, because he was the be in and end all. And also as I was growing up, I also wanted to be like my older brother. I think all younger brothers want to be like their older brothers, because I just admired the way Ruby conducted himself on the field. He was always pretty hard and like putting a good shot on. As I come to the club, and there was like I looked up to, like, obviously Abel, JG was a big one, because I like the way he conducted himself. He fucking didn't fuck around. He played hard. He played fair, and win at all costs. Win, lose or draw. You buy your opposition a beer, and then, see you next round. So, and I really admired that about JG. He wasn't the fittest or the strongest or the biggest, but I'll give him, he was one of the toughest fellas I've ever pulled on the shirt with. So, yeah, the old mate JG, and obviously in the back line, I had a few games with the old Kazi Aramaho, awesome player. Never put a foot wrong for the jersey. What I also liked about Ara was he never actually put anyone else down. If something happened that wasn't au fait or not what we were supposed to be doing, he was always trying Manaki players to come along and get on that same waka. So, for different reasons, there's different players in my timeline, but those would be the mains on that sort of jump out straight away.
Mean, too much, Matsi. Mean. Tibo.
Yeah, that's a tough one, bro. There's been so many, and like most of those fellas there, and I suppose you fellas as well, was always someone at the club that you looked up to growing up. I'll probably start more with a couple of players I played with to start off with. Obviously, Matsi, living legend there. Being able to play with him over the last pretty much since I started. It's been massive. Rookie, as annoying as he is, he's fucking right up there. I've got fucking plenty of earfuls from both of them. Plenty of prima donna fucking growlings from Matsi, and plenty of whenever I make a mistake, earfuls from Rookie as well over the years. That's all in good zest, I know. And then, growing up, fellas I didn't play with. Johnny Matahaere was one of the ones looking at my position, and Ara. Positions I played in, those two, obviously, that I watched, and even got the pleasure to play with Ara too when he was finishing and I was starting. So, that's probably my guys.
Bro. Some legends there. Johnny Matahaere, remember watching him play. Ara Mahu, talk to us about your heroes, bro.
Yeah, kia ora. Just with what Mats and Timo had already brought up, it's hard to pinpoint because there are a lot of good players and idols during your rugby years, including themselves. But one that I remember because he played rugby for a long time, and it's on the same level as what Mats said about his uncle Blosmond, and that's Eddie Stokes. He did really well early in his career. He made the All Blacks, but he also played when we were starting to play senior rugby. He was still playing. So he was still there, leading by example, and he could still beat an opposition when he was in his later years. That's how good he was. He was the whole package, or lady. And he always gave positive advice. He wasn't. He did it in like a hard case way, like in a jokingly way, but there's a message in his joke. Yeah, there's a message in his joke, and you had to try and He Stokes. There's a few of them, Our cousin Dino Hicker.
Yeah.
Dean Hicker. The Hickers. Let's say the Hickers.
Yeah.
They were a strong rugby whānau. They gave it 100%. Look at Craig Hicker, the halfback. I'll give you an example. When we were playing in the seniors, like the opposition used to tap the ball to run at us. He would the first man there to make the tackle on the biggest opposition of the paddock was him. Yeah. He was the first one there to try and tackle him. So that's how big a hearts they had. Charles Puna, he was a good captain. No nonsense man. Just said the right things, short, brief, get on with the job, and he did the job himself. So he led by example, Charles. Yeah. But there's a lot to. You don't want to leave out anyone, but even old Putsi, he was a good player. Oh, Gary Lupine. Yeah. That's just about it.
Definitely some legends of the game there. This next one, we'll go through this next one, and actually AK and I are gonna answer this too first. Toughest opponents. So if you want to think about your fellas' toughest opponents, and me and AK will talk about some of the toughest opponents we've played against for Rangatawa. So for me, and I've had a bit of I was thinking about this most of the week, who playing against Rangatawa, who were the toughest, maybe not the toughest opponents, but who would always beat us. And there's actually that fella, Rookie Bloody Tipuna, was one of them. Biggest competitor, he used to carve us, or, in the last minute of the game, he'd pull something out. But you've mentioned the name before, and one of the biggest demises to Tipuna winning against Rangatawa was a bloody Trevor Billings and his left foot. I remember going to watch him play and playing against him a couple of times when I was young, and he would kick Rangatawa out of trouble, and then they'll get their forwards rolling on top of us, and it was all over. So I really remember those two players. always Matsi would always pull it out an amazing game against the Puna. I remember watching you score that bloody, it was in 2016 too, Matsi, you scored that try to win the game, to keep you out of the bottom 8 and then win the championship after that. I remember watching that game. So things like that stick out in my mind, but always had some good tough battles against our Pāpaka mates. So yeah, those are some of the memories that I have of the years. Okay.
Yeah, well, before I get into the opponents, I just want to go back and just acknowledge those legends that you've all shared. What really strikes me about those names is that there was a really good mix of grassroots warriors, and then those who actually went on to some great heights. Yeah. And that's what we love about the game. You know, our idols don't necessarily always be the ones who end up in a national jersey or reach the great heights of what rugby can offer. A lot of the time it's the uncle or the weekend warrior who just got out there year after year, century after decade after decade, and just went to war, for the club. And some of those names that you mentioned there are absolute legends of the game. Not only in Rangatawa, Tauranga Moana wide, Bay of Plenty wide, and then on occasions, nationwide. So awesome to hear those names. I can't fault you on what you've just said there, Haywood, in terms of toughest opponents. Had some beauty debates and discussions with Rookie on the field many a time. Nathaniel was always good for a bit of banter as well. Negus, he was always good to have a yarn with, get under each other's skin. But yeah, Mutt's tough competitor. Timo just keeps coming at you, won't stop. These are our battles over the years have been brutal, been vicious, but I'll tell you what, straight as soon as the game's finished, always willing to leave it there on the field and get upstairs and have a beer with one another. And again, that's another beauty part of our game. So
They will start with you. Uts, we'll start with you. Who's your toughest opponent, bro, in your playing career?
You could probably pick a few, someone at each club, bro, but I might just turn it back to Te Puna. And when I was growing up, bro, they were a little bit older than me, but they were always tough to play against. This bloody JJ Whaiapu and Kane Taipa.
Yeah.
Another one, bro, was a menace when we were growing up. It was actually Simon Ratima, Simon Weti. He was a big, bloody, strong, fast brute, bro, and he had that bloody Captain America haircut that made him look even tougher, Ratima was an unreal player growing up, and unfortunately now it's just a couple of injuries here and there might have hurt him along the way. But Kanos and JJ, very tough opposition, bro. Yeah. If you were younger than them, they let you know it.
Oh yes, even when you're their cousins. Timothy.
Yeah, I'll probably start off with it's not so much the toughest player, but the hardest player I played against. He used to fucking rip me up every time I played him. Overall, and there's a fella, you fellas will know Rena Schuster from Rotuiti. Fuck, that guy used to fucking tear me out arsehole every time I played them. So overall, he'd probably be my most difficult player I played against. For Pirirako, there's a few. One was Ata Malifa, when he was playing. Fucking that guy could fucking hit, and when he hit you, you felt it. He's I just remember one game we played against you for the Gilly. I think it might have been fucking, I don't know, 2009 maybe. It was around those years anyway, and fucking he young Woody Muss, me and young Woody Muss were in the fellas remember Woody Muss? Young Woody Muss were playing in the midfield that day, and fucking done a 2-3 cut, and fucking Ata just fucking sent him off the field. He folded him over his shoulder and sent him off. And that wasn't the only person Upset did that year too. I think he done it to quite a few people, heard a lot of people. And another one will be Big Pom in the midfield there. He always bloody gave me the douche every time I tried to run it up to him. He was always difficult to get past. And then probably in my earlier days, obviously it was more towards the end of his career. But fellas like Charlie Boy, Charles Bidwa, and then AK yourself, played against you many times over the years, and you know, to be honest, from what I can remember, we always lost more than we won against you fellas. And with Hayward there, you fellas were always one funny story. I'll throw this in there.
Throwing you under the bus again, are we?
No, it was,
Go, boy, go.
like I remember one year, Rooks, we were playing you fellas, and obviously Rooks was playing, and it was a high-scoring game. I think you fellas, it might have been 2000 and maybe 10. I think just before he left for England, we played you fellas up there in the first round. I think it was the first or second game of the round, and you fellas won that game by 1 point. But this game was a high-scoring game, and in fact, we were both scoring tries tit for tat. And I could just remember AK, every time Te Pono scored a try, he went up to Rookie and goes, "Fuck, do you like that try, Rookie?" And the Rookie goes, "Okay then." And then we scored a try, and then he goes, "How do you like that? What that try, AK? It's fucking better than your shitty try." And then you fellas were just going back and forth all game. Like I just remember that was a highlight of.
I should have never got in a battle with him over that. Rookie always wins those battles. I've seen him multiple times. Just get on top of players. He gets on top of the referee, I should have never got into that exchange with him. But we won that game, so I'll take that.
He was hard to beat in the verbal battle, but it was just one of the stories I remember. But so many, but yeah.
Mean cuz. Ara. Oh, who's next?
No, Ara.
The toughest opponent I've come up against is when I was playing Waikato, and it was against Ellison, bro. The man himself. In terms of between our clubs, well, you got somebody mentioned like a Charlie Boy. He was a hard hitter, and also Sonny Kiwi, bro. See, I wrote Sonny Kiwi as well. Yeah, he was up there. Being hit by other players on the field. The other guy that comes to mind is Matsi's Tuakana, Rubes.
Yeah.
Mate. When we played Arataki one time over there, I think it was his first years there. Fuck, I felt this tackle, bro. Gee.
When Dion was playing.
This guy. He got up, but still, when you feel something, you notice it. And I definitely looked at his number and wondered who he was, and I was told him it was Matsi's brother. I was like, he's cool. He's a Roops.
Another story on Roops, sorry, Anna. I heard from those Mount players last year that he was running sessions in the red, high contact sessions, and he was smashing them. They're actually afraid of him, mate. The old coach was out there smashing the boys. Chauncey Wood didn't want any part of them, he was telling me.
Yeah, it's me.
Beautiful. Matsi.
Yeah. So I remember my first year at the club, and he was playing for Western Pirates, I think, a green and black club out of Rotorua.
Eastern Pirates.
Lincoln Whareorere, loose forward. He was amazing.
The Bernard Whareorere.
Bernard Whareorere, he was the loose forward. There was obviously all the Whareorere boys out of Rangiuri, and he was a brother, but he was over there.
That's right.
I remember playing him, bro, and fucking, I sort of rated myself like you do, being young and a bit cocky. Fuck, bro, he fucking dusted me that day, and it was a long bus ride, but once I got a few Lion Browns and everything got right. But it took a bit of a long bus trip home. Another one that I a tough player I played against was Pep Waititi for Te Tiko.
Yeah.
He's a whanaunga of mine, so that was always first ruck. That was my first game for Rangatawa Seniors. We played Te Tiko at home. First ruck, he cracked me, smacked me, a beauty. Come up blood pissing out of my nose. Got a good sized snorer, so he couldn't miss it. So I had to go to the enforcer, Abel Hette. He goes, "Who did that?" And I said, "That fella there, number 7. Well, it was all on the next ruck, eh? Oh, but I got out of there because it was a big scrap and they were all into it and I was backing back and I didn't want to get smacked up by those buggers. So that was a pretty a baptism of fire. Those were some real tough players. I got to give credit to, well, I played Richie McCall when he was a young boy, first come on the scene for Canterbury. Then I played him consecutive years after that. Super Rugby, he was tough, man. He was tough, white boy, just driven. I would do not such nice things to try and get a reaction out of him, to create try and throw him off his game. But he handled everything. He just handled everything that you chucked at him and just carried on playing the game to the letter of the law and pushed the envelope. He would fucking fold you, man. He would put your head between your legs every tackle, and then just, you'd do the same to him and try and add a little bit, a little bit extra, give him like a little bit more of a tickle up just to try and provoke a reaction or even see him squint or show a little bit of pain. There's none on that face. He didn't register. He would be the ultimate player that I've played against in regards to toughness and being a tough bugger. But, I think I just already mentioned about Craig's Eyes Hika for absolute courage on the field and a borderline insanity, I think, because he was fucking maybe not 100.
Not 100,
but he had courage on the field, bro. Like, as forwards, you sort of back yourself when there's a penalty, you shape up and you get forward and make a tackle. Fuck, he would come flying past you, and then whop the big fella, get up, where are you forward? He had time to do that, and you're still running to the penalty kick to make the tackle. So, there's some
legends,
some courageous fellas I've played with over the years, and like it's been mentioned, what I do love about rugby is you leave what happens on the field on the field. If some days you may have got the better of someone, well, they can have the opportunity next round or next year or whenever. Some days you may have lost some battles on the field and you just wait till the next game or the next round and then, now's my time to try and get one back. But it was never a grudge where you go off the field and, fuck, that fella kicked me and that's me. It's never that. It was leave it on the field, go up, have a beer, cheer brother, whatever happened. That's keep the point. Leave it on the field, wait till next game, and then we'll see if we can get squares or whatever. So, I know we try and emphasize that at our club and tell our young boys, bro, whatever happens on the field stays on the field. Leave it at that. Go and buy your opposition a beer, have a beer. Say, cheer brother, even though if you don't like personally, say good on you, bro. See you next round. So, but that's my 2 cents, brothers.
Mean, bro. Mean. Hey, that's some awesome corridor, bros, and definitely, you could definitely name, one person at every club in that category. Hey, we're just about done. I'll actually hand it over to AK to do this last question, and then we'll just have final words. Go around the.
Hold on, Kazi.
Yeah.
A name has just sprung into mind from Te Puna, and you fellas know them well. You remember those two twins,
Gus.
Jimmy and Gus?
Yeah, bro.
Back in the day, they were some mongrel motherfuckers, bro. They could go good, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
I
bro.
remember them, bro. Unfortunately, they're past now, but I remember playing them. I don't know how I was playing against the Puna, and they were playing, bro. They were a little bit borderline.
Yeah, nah.
They were almost BZ.
100%.
Yeah, we often refer to them as having lion hearts. They had a huge heart, and they could let out a huge lion roar. It's real out of it times of the night. But but they were, very courageous on the rugby field. Not the biggest men, but I tell you what, they would go out there and do their best for the team. And
yes, kia ora. Aroha mai, sorry.
All good. Yeah, AK will finish it off for us, and then
Yep. Okay, brothers. Choice. I guess rather than go around the room, I might just target this. Just bring it back to our current situation. So, we've all been through a pretty unprecedented moment in time where we've been forced into a lockdown situation. Don't get me wrong, it's not all doom and gloom. There have been a heap of positives that I think we can all take out of this time. But as we try and navigate our way back into some sort of normality over the next few weeks, months, even years, I guess, we're going to remember a lot of the stuff that we've done, especially in the last 7 weeks. So I just want to bring it back to the season ahead, and I guess target this question to you, Atiro. What have you done over the last few weeks to keep your players engaged, keep them focused for the year ahead? What things have you been able to how have you communicated with your players and your members, knowing that the season is not too far away?
Yeah, sure, okay. But I think when we first went into the pandemic, no one really knew what it was going to look like, and you might have just even sit in a little bit of panic. But once we got to sit back and have a look at it and decide what was important. What was important to us was the well-being of our players and staying connected. So that was the focus for us over that lockdown period, was trying to stay connected. So we used our Facebook page, our Facebook chats, and then like everyone else over that lockdown period, we started getting into the Zooms. I'd only been in one Zoom meeting pre-lockdown. Now I've probably been in 1,000. And we focused on staying connected and checking in on each other, things like that, seeing if all the boys were all right. Obviously, some people were going through situations of mahi and frustrations in the home maybe, but we were all happy with the fact that, our young fellas, our players have all come out of this for the better, and they see the positives from the lockdown. We've done a few different things, bro. We've put some online training sessions, a few video challenges. Last night we did a F45 session, which almost killed me and Timo. We've actually got a quiz night tonight, bro. That's our way of rounding off the lockdown. Our boys are getting together on Zoom, just have a beer together, say congratulations on living through this part of the pandemic, And I think we've done a good job around there, bro. We've had a lot of people on the page contributing on our page, showing the training they're doing. And I guess a real plus to it is the amount of videos that the young fellas have been posting up. It's been real encouraging to see, that they're keen to show that they're doing the mahi and looking forward to the season. What the season will look like, we don't exactly know, but when I look back at this time, I always think, we focus on staying connected and hauora of our players.
Couple outs. Awesome, bro. Just before we head around the room one more time for some last words, Haywood, have we found us a new sponsor?
Yeah. So the call went out last week to add to our sponsorship list, and then Super Liquor Greeton have jumped on board. So AK is going to show you some. Hopefully, there you go. There's our current sponsorship.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, we just want to thank our sponsors of the show, Rebel Sport, Sky Sport, Holden Club Sport, and now we've got Super Liquor on board. So we just want to make a shout out to our sponsors. And we had a competition running this week, didn't we, Haywood? And I think we've got ourselves a winner.
Yes.
Got ourselves a winner, and I believe his name is Para Belly Truck. Love it. Is that the same one that you've heard, Hayward?
Yes, that's the winner this week. So we'll get in touch with you. You'll be getting a sponsorship prize from our sponsors, Super Liquor. Sorry, there's no club sport on the line this week. That'll be next week. So just Super Liquor.
Just as we've gone to that particular part of the show, I think the belly truck was actually directed towards Mutz, and see he's just snuck off. This time we're going to have to save the belly truck. Oh, actually he's back on.
Sorry, boys.
So Mutz, I was just explaining that we had a competition running earlier in the week, and it was guess the guest, and one of the viewers actually put in Matua Belly Truck Parkinson. Can you just quickly give us a lowdown on what belly truck might refer to?
Yes, well, like all of us that live out here in Te Puna, we all have come to pass down there on the Moana. This one morning I thought I'd be a little bit sneaky, put 2 nets out. Hey, that's my first mistake there. Tangaro saw that as being greedy. I pulled up 1 net instead of coming in and going around the beach to the next net. I thought I'd do a little bit of a shortcut. Bueno whānau, she ended up, the old holdanger ended up right on her guts right before this Papa Rock, so it wasn't going to get pulled out. And it was happened early in the morning. Now, I ran in, bro, and I burst this Pākea's bubble. Never mind about that lockdown, brother. Come and pull me out. Got it. And my only reasoning for doing this was I'll get there, get myself pulled out before anyone saw. It was still dark. I'll be able to get out. No one would know the difference. I got there, got this Pākea, and he's going, oh, I don't know if I should go. I said, hey, come on, man. Look, my truck's just there. Because at the time, the water was still quite a way away. But he was parked up on this Papa Rock, bro, and it was just skidding. He had a Mitsubishi light in the ass. Next thing, he saw this other vehicle coming. He saw another vehicle coming from out the point. And I was looking, I'm going, oh, fuck, who's that? Anyway, it pulled right up beside him, and I heard, oh, mate, can you come and help pull this guy out? And I recognized the voice, and I'm going, oh, no, who's that? Oh, and the voice replied, oh, look, I've only got a little wagon, 4-wheel, but I'll come and give you a push. Oh, okay. And I walked in on fucking, lo and behold, had to be Te Puna's finest hero, Aiden Cooker. So I knew as soon as he saw me, everyone would know. Ended up, there was Jamal was down there, Tupper turned up down there, me trying to be inconspicuous and get out of there without anyone seeing me. Oh, bro, it was a nightmare. I had to ring the old Kazi Chiefy. He come down there and pulled me out with a tractor. So by then, the old water level was right through the old holdanger. She's a good truck, but fucking shit diver. Couldn't swim for shit.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that story, Mutz. I wasn't prepared to tell it, but I'm glad you were.
No. There's no embarrassment then, okay? There's no embarrassment in one having a falter and being a little bit sleepy from the night before and getting caught in the mud flats. I do remember distinctly everyone that stopped said, oh, well, we've sunk a truck here too, so you're not the first, and I don't think you'll be the last. So I'll take enlight in that, and I'm not going to be the last, and hopefully I can go and uffy someone when they get stuck down there. Say, well, wait, don't go down there again. So,
ka pai, Mutz. Ka pai, bro.
Too much. Yeah. So thank you, fellas, for tonight. Thank you. It was always good having a quarter. We'll get this posted up on the page and later on, and we can laugh at ourselves later. So just from us here, to all of you fellas, thank you for your kōrero, and definitely we'll look forward to seeing you fellas, whether it's back at our house or over at Te Pāo Te Ariki in the near future. And Yeah, I'm sure Mats owes me a couple of steinies.
Always got you, brother. Always got you. My whare is always open. Always got a few steinies in the fridge, whether it be, like you say, at Te Pao Te Ariki or just down the road here at Te Puna Rugby Club. I've got us a beer, brothers.
Nice, bro. Nice. Kapai.
Kapai, boys. Yeah, so just, I guess, on behalf of the crew, just all the best to our rangatawa whānau for the season ahead. Whatever the season looks like, we're still a little bit unsure. But in whatever version we get given this year, all the best. For someone who's stepping a little bit away from the club scene this season, I guess I can sort of wear a neutral hat, although I you all know where my bones are. But yeah, in all honesty, good luck for the season. Thanks for coming on tonight, and just want to finish by saying a big mihi to you all as well from our centenary. Yeah. I know it was for our whānau from Rangatawa who came over and supported us during our centenary, providing security, setting things up, supporting the rugby that was on throughout the day. You know, those are memories that will never be forgotten. So we thank you for your support and your tautoko during that time. Yeah, like I said, all the best for the season. Over to you, Cuz.
Kapai, too much. So, yep, any other club out there that wanna feature on this? Yeah, pretty high. You know, people, there's heaps of people messaging in. So get in there. And any other sponsors, we're probably looking for a technical person to sort our technical issues out. So
that's not me. That's not me, but I'm no good at that.
So yeah, thank you again, and good luck, everyone. Kia ora homa. Too much.
Kia ora, brother.
Kia ora.
Talk to you, Dave.
All right, Pumari.
Ai kona.
All right.